to The Burn. Gaming stuff, blazing fast.
Hello and welcome to a new episode of The Burn, a podcast about gaming done blazing fast. I'm Aviv Manoach.
And I am Omer Kaplan.
How are you, Omer?
Oh, man, everything is just amazing. You know, school started, I think it was 3 days ago. They were not prepared for online learning, let me tell you that. So yeah, it's been a fun ride this week. And what happened last week since we talked, I have no idea. Everything's a blur now. But yeah, I'm living the moment. Everything's great right now. We get to talk about games. So, you know, everything's peaches.
Yeah, people on our side are looking in the US and they are thinking everything that's happening in the US is going to happen here in a 2 weeks delay. So we are looking forward to the inevitable collapse.
I mean, listen, I have empathy. I feel for those, teachers and school members. They had 5 months to prepare. All the technology is there. All the infrastructure is great. They license great technology companies to work with them. But, at the end of the day, it's one teacher. It's 20 kids in a classroom, like via Zoom, learning online. The teacher have no idea what she's doing. Like, she's really trying, and she's all good intentions, but it's hard. Yeah. I mean, I can imagine myself teaching 20, like taking ownership of education of 20 young kids. It's crazy.
So here, there is no infrastructure, there is no great technology, there is nothing. Just nothing.
Well, that's gonna be an issue. Like we actually got like a computer from the school. We got even a wireless hotspot from the school. Like they give you all the stuff. It was even contactless, which is great. But yeah, so we'll see. Oh, but you don't have any hurricanes. We have a hurricane here.
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah. You have hurricanes, you have fire tornadoes. I don't know what's happening in your continent. It's like hell on earth.
I know. It's like level. What months are we? September. It's level 9 almost. So we'll see. We'll see what happens in level 10. But yeah, so there isn't a tornado like here, but it's pretty close, and yeah, it's a big place. Let's talk about game. Let's talk about happy stuff.
Okay, fine. So yeah, welcome to The Burn, where we talked about a game each week on the show. Not each week, because this is a bi-weekly podcast. Each episode of the show, we discuss one game we are playing and like or dislike or have something to say about. And a news topic that we can also say stuff about, and today's is a big one. You can listening to all the episode on the website, theburn.live, and of course subscribe to your favorite podcasts application, whatever you're using, Apple, Google, Spotify. And you can also catch me usually at twitch.tv/icel.me. There is the Hebrew podcast there. There are art stream I do with Blender modeling and stuff. So yeah, come to say hello. Today's game is on Omer, although I played it as well. Take us away.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's great. I really want to hear your opinion, because this week I played Remnant from the Ashes.
Remnant : from the Ashes.
Yes. Right. Perfect. So I had all the reasons not to like this game, because I'm very bad at Dark Souls and Souls-like games. And usually I'm the type of person who... Oh, I totally forgot. I wanted to say that I wanted to talk about Persona 5, but then you kind of like stole it away. And anyway, I don't want to talk about Persona 5 anymore.
Wait, no. Now I'm intrigued. What did you want to say about Persona 5?
Oh, no, I wanted to start by saying, let's talk about Persona 5 a little bit, and then got you all excited, but then, we just kind of like slid to talk about Remnant.
We can talk about the proto-Persona I found for the Switch.
Yeah, maybe in 2 weeks. Anyway, so I had all the reasons not to like Remnant. I'm very bad at Dark Souls. I'm very bad at Souls-like games because I'm the type of person who like to play games on casual mode, get the good storyline, have some action, but have like a very forgiving experience. And I'm not a fan of like hard video games. And this one, I read reviews, I watched some YouTube gameplay, and I was like, you know what, this doesn't look very punishing, like other Souls-like or Dark Souls games.
And
So I
also,
went,
it was given free on Epic for like everyone. 10 million people downloaded the game when it was free.
yeah. I mean, yeah. I wonder how does that compare to like GTA 5 though. So it's interesting. Anyway, so I got to play it. It's what the nice. Let's start with the nice thing. The game isn't as punishing as I thought. It's not punishing at all. You can, play the game. All the
There is
all
a
the
normal
properties,
difficulty to begin with.
yes, first of all, there is a difficulty. Which is nice.
Yes.
Let's start with having a difficulty. So I go in, I immediately take in the atmosphere. It's kind of like a weird post-apocalyptic environment where trees took over the planet, I guess.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. So basically, trees took over the planet, which sounds great, but for those people, it's kind of weird because the tree said, yeah, we took over the planet, but the first thing we want to do is we want to look like humans and, like create axes and create guns because obviously trees, this is what they want to do. So, but, they're, I guess they found their humanoid ways to take over the planet. And I mean, right now I'm like 4 or 5 hours in, so the story is still kind of like a mystery to me. But it's very post-apocalyptic. Everything is kind of like stitched together. Planes crashing, all the cities upside down, and you navigate through the wreckage, fighting monsters. And it's nice. All the different. Well, right now I'm in a city, so every section has its own different enemies. Enemies, like in all the Souls games, have different way they move, different, like kind of like a predictable way they deliver their damage. You need to dodge the damage. There's bosses, there's elite monsters, which give you resources. You use the resources to upgrade your stuff. But the nice thing about all this is you're not punished for dying, which is awesome. You get to keep all the resources. So if I want to go back and upgrade, enough times, and I die enough times, I'll be like really over defensive and really really high level for the zone that I'm in. So I just get to breeze through it, which is fine. All the like level bosses right now haven't been super hard. I had to do them like 20 times to like memorize all the attacks and stuff. But they like weren't super hard. They did creep me out though, so they're pretty hard.
That started to sound like a Souls game.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, you're going. I think the first. Well, I'm not doing any spoilers, but one of the first bosses you encounter, you just go into this like really claustrophobic sewer system, and all of a sudden there's this huge monstrosity of a thing, and he's dragging like a sword on the floor, kind of like with a huge hand, and he's like coming at you, and he's running and screaming. It's like, oh my gosh, ugh. And you're playing with headphones, everything. It's pretty intense. And it took me like forever to beat him, and it was like right on my final sliver of life because bosses, like Souls games, they give you like conditions, and you're bleeding, and you have to bandage yourself while you're bleeding, while you're sickened to do everything at once. It was a mess. And and all this ammo conservation stuff, I'm not a fan of. Like I don't have like having like super limited resources, so. There's that. But the nice thing about it, so you don't get punished for dying. You have the checkpoints every 5 to 10 minutes, so you don't really have to get super invested in a run. You can like do them in small chunks, or you can have big runs and get a lot of resources and reset, because checkpoints obviously reset all the enemies. So it's nice. I'm not entirely sure I'm gonna play it all the way through, just because the core gameplay. Oh, we're gonna talk about the pause button in a second. The core gameplay is still button? No, that's the thing. So I really enjoy playing casually, right? And all I wanted in life is just a pause button, so I can play a little bit, pause the game, go like take care of my kids, do stuff, and then come back, continue my run. But there's no pause button, and it drove me crazy.
Right, that's also Souls-like. Souls-like games.
I know.
Don't pause when you open menus and shit.
I know. So I I go online and I'm Googling for Remnant from the Ashes pause button, and the first thing, you know what? The first thing I'm getting a Reddit thread, but it's all about, hey, just get good at the game. What? Why are you such a noob?
Shut
What in
up.
the pause button? Yeah, I mean, so just Google that and get to the Reddit thread. You'll see like, all the like, Dark Souls Master Race people. I was like, why do you even need a pause button? That's not very general. Like, I was like, okay, screw that. I went in and I downloaded a program called Universal Pause Button for Windows, which pauses like any program. I was like, screw
Amazing.
this crap. So now I just pause the game whenever I work and like, screw that crap.
Excellent
So
advice. I'm going to use that for everything.
Like honestly, it works on everything because it basically taps into like the thread of the program that you're running. So I just could do. Oh, but you can't pause Windows itself. So good programmer put a guardrail against like pausing shell, which is very nice of him. I tried it just for science, and it was really nice. So you go in, you pause whatever you want. I got all the good environment to really enjoy the game. It's just at the end of the day, it's like a Souls game, and I don't know. Also, like Hitman just went live on the Epic Game Store. We're gonna talk about it in a second, I guess. We're gonna talk a lot about Epic today, I think. So maybe Hitman is more in line with what I want. It's it's kind of stealthy. It's not super punishing.
Hitman is the perfect game for you.
It
has literally endless content. Well, not literally, but as close to it as you can get. You can play it in any size chunk you want. It's on one hand tactical and on the other end full of action, and that's not the topic of this episode, but yeah.
Right. So let me so before, because I'm reaching to my 10 minutes time limit, but before so not going to play Remnant from the Ashes all the way through. If I had to choose between Hitman and Tomb Raider Game of the Year, what would you play?
As in Tomb Raider 2013?
No, yes. I think so.
Hitman all the way. The Tomb Raider, the reboot is, in my opinion, not a good game because they put in too many quick time events.
Oh, I read that. But I read good stuff about the story, so I was like, yeah, Hitman is nice, but
nice.
bland.
It's nice. The first game is, I don't know, a 7. The second game, it's like an 8.5 in the series.
Cool. Okay. So yeah. All right.
Hitman is much better, and I have it on Steam, and on Steam, if you bought originally the first Hitman 2016, the revival, you can install the second one, Hitman 2, and get the legacy pack for free, and you can play all of the old episodes basically remastered in the second game engine. So
that's nice and nostalgic.
Yeah. So originally did that. Not really nostalgic. There's like 3 years between the games, yeah?
I know, but we've all done that. It's kind of nice.
Yeah, but so I originally replayed the first game in the second game engine, and then it was part of the Humble Monthly, I think. So I now have also Hitman 2 in Steam. And I haven't got to the new episode yet, but yeah.
All right. I got mine from the Epic Game Store. Speaking of the Epic Game Store.
No, where I haven't talked about Remnant yet. Give me a couple.
Oh yeah. Totally forgot that you played. Yeah, tell me all about it.
Push me. I played very little. I basically installed the game. By the way, there was an update like yesterday or something like that, 35 gigabytes, and the Epic store is not downloading for me. I left it open all night. It got to like 17%.
Yeah, it's really weird. So what they have, I'm gonna give you spoilers. It's basically, I think they download like all the DLC content for you, but you have to like pay to unlock it. But basically, you're gonna have the DLC whether you want it or not, and then you have to unlock it. So it's really weird.
Yeah, that's I don't know. I wish it would just download. I don't care. I don't care whether it's locked or not. But if I want to play the game right now, I can't play the game because it's stuck in update.
Yeah. Oh, there's a funny thing about the DLC I should mention. Okay, before you go, in the DLC there's like a premium vendor whatever thing, and they didn't do a voiceover for this guy. So the way they resolved it is that this guy is mute and he's writing on the small blackboard all the messages he wants to show you. So that's it.
Okay, that's cool. I played basically the tutorial part of the game until you get to activate the stone at the beginning. I liked I like the game because it's a third-person shooter basically. Although you have a melee weapon, but it's weird because you have to hold down aim to shoot the gun, and if you don't hold down aim, you use the melee weapon instead. That takes some time to get used to because, well, you are used to just shooting a gun, and it doesn't work like that.
Yeah, there's no firing from the hip. I think they try to encourage you to use like melee weapon as much as possible. But I don't know.
Really? Because it's like the other way around. The melee system is so basic in compared to the shooting system of the game.
Yeah, but there's no ammo at all. Like you have to buy either like ammo resources or find on the floor, and I don't know. You don't get like much ammo in the game. I don't know.
Okay.
So kind of have to like whack your way through.
Interesting. I watched the game a bit, both when it came out and again in the past week when the DLC came out. So a lot of streamers played again, and I felt like trying it. And I don't know yet if I actually going to like it or not, if it's going to be too hard for me. If you say it's going to take me 20 times to try a boss, I would probably not going to continue. I don't have the patience for 20 times a boss. The only game that
I'm bad at Souls-like, so maybe it'll take you like 10, but it still sucks. I don't know. And I mean, every boss have a checkpoint, so you like go right in. So there's no load screens. You just like
there is the boss fog.
What?
The boss fog, the fog door.
Yeah.
The only game similar to this genre that I put time in was Dead Cells, which is a lot of fun. So I don't know. Great. Right now I'm deep into the JRPG hole, so I don't know when I go back to Judgment. But
each one of those is like 160 hours anyway, so I'll see you in a year.
Something like that. Let's talk about our news topic, which is Epic and their shenanigans in the gaming world, specifically versus Apple. So a couple of weeks ago, Epic decided they are going to add a new payment method to Fortnite. And this payment method was 30% cheaper than the equivalent Apple Pay and Google Play payment method. And that's because when you buy anything in in-app purchases on either of the platforms, they basically take 30% cut. So Epic did a switcheroo and basically presented it as you're paying 30% more because we need to pay Apple and Google, and if you don't want to do that, you can pay us directly. But of course, that's against Apple and Google's TOS. So after a bunch of warnings, they took the Fortnite down from both stores. No one cares what happened with the Google Play Store because to begin with, Fortnite wasn't there. If you remember, first when Fortnite came out to Android, Epic didn't want to put it on the Play Store at all. They have people downloaded it. Whatever. With Epic's own launcher and through an Epic Way. Anyway. And on Android, no one cares. You just activate, install unknown sources, and you can install whatever you want on your phone. That's not a big issue. Apple, on the other hand, you don't have any way to install unregulated application unless your phone is jailbroken, which is not something most people do, especially not teens / young children, which are the major demographic for Fortnite. So Apple threw the app from the store, and then there was a big fight with Epic, and Epic sue. And Apple said, okay, if you are going to sue us, we are going... that wasn't really the thing that happened. Apple said, you have broken our term of service continuously, so we are going to suspend your development accounts. And that's a big deal. That's a big deal because if Epic's Unreal developer account is deactivated, it means that they can't test Unreal Engine on the iOS platform, which means that there won't be any future updates for Unreal Engine to run on iOS, which means that a lot of game developers are going to get screwed, and that's an issue. In the meantime, Epic petitioned the court, and they ordered Apple not to deactivate this Unreal Engine developer account specifically. Fortnite is a different matter, and we will see how it goes. Now, the thing is, this is not the only fight against Apple that has happened in the past 6 months. There is a company called Basecamp. Basecamp is a medium-sized tech company. They have Basecamp, the project development, project management solution, whatever. Their co-founder, David Heinemeier Hansen, is the actual guy that invented Ruby on Rails, if you are familiar with that technology. And they have a new software, a new website called hey.com. It's an email application, a fully new, not related to anything else, email site. You open an account, you pay some of money, and you have a new email with a very unique and ingenious, in my opinion, interface. I pay them. So they launched it. They put the app on the iOS, and they didn't have a way to pay on the iOS. And nor on Google, for that matter. Like many services before them, they just, when you install the app and you don't have an account, they tell you to go to the website and open an account. An example of other companies that do this is Netflix. Netflix don't let you pay through iOS and Google. They send you to the Netflix website. You then create an account and pay, and then you log into the application. Apple didn't like the fact that Hey is circumventing the in-app purchases with their application, and then they approved the first version, and then they declined all the updates that came after that. And then basically David Heinemeier Hansen, DHH as he's known, is a very vocal individual that starts big internet fights, and he did so as well here. It got a lot of press attention. It got a lot of other people to inquire why the heck Apple is screwing over people, etc. The middle ground they found in the end, after Apple graciously agreed to talk about it, was that they will offer a limited free trial of the service, and then if people want to get the actual paid version, they will go on the website. But obviously, Apple only caved because of the media attention. Now, I think that versus someone like Epic, it's more than just the media attention. We are not talking about Apple versus a very small tech company that they seem like a giant crushing the little people. This is a fight between giants, and in a fight between giants, the results will be different. Now, I would say that this 30% cut is not unique to Apple. Basically, every other digital online retailer takes the same cut. Steam takes this cut. I think also Humble takes this cut. I don't know about GOG, but I imagine it's about the same. This is the industry standard. But I will take you back 2 years ago when Epic started the Epic Store. And the first thing they did was to reduce this cut to 10%. This was their agenda from day one. They not only reduced the cut to 10% for every developer on their platform, they removed the revenue requirement for companies using the Unreal Engine if they sell on the Epic Store. So usually, if you are a game developer and you use the Unreal Engine, you need to pay royalties to Epic above a certain amount of revenue. It was, I think, $100,000 or $200,000 before. Now they even lifted that. It's like $1 million before you need to pay them anything. But if you put your game on the Epic Store, they don't take double cut. They will only take the 10% from the store and not the royalties. So this is not something that Epic did out of the blue. Epic are coming with a very clear agenda that says we are not going to gouge people that are using our services, and we think that other companies shouldn't as well. It's basically calling out Apple for their payment practices and telling the other major large tech companies, this is not right. We want you to reduce the cut you are taking from people like we did. Would they succeed? Only time would tell.
Yeah, it's really interesting. So, it's all a matter of who has more leverage. Apple as the marketplace, or Epic Score with the amount of huge profit revenue they can get for Apple as the marketplace, because it's kind of like a two-sided market. You have the sellers and the buyers, and Apple is the platform.
Every market is a two-sided market.
Yeah, well, I guess.
I think the interesting thing here is, would Epic successfully leverage their many hundreds of thousands of users against Apple? Would people switch devices to play Fortnite?
Probably not.
I'm not sure.
But
I'm not sure in your. I wouldn't be so adamant.
Yeah, no. I mean, if you ask me about confidence, whether somebody would switch their device just for Fortnite, you know what? I'm on the camp of less likely. I think it's a financials game. I think Apple are making around $500 million a year from in-app purchases. How much is that cut coming from Epic products? That's one question. I think it's financial games and litigation games and leverage, and the result of that would maybe trickle down to the rest of the industry. But right now it's two companies. I can tell you that Facebook had an issue yesterday where they launched a feature where you can buy tickets for event through Facebook app, and then they had a clause there that said, just so you know, we don't take a cut from the price you pay for a ticket, but Apple will take 30% of that. And then Apple rejected and then Apple rejected their app and say, well, we don't really want you to, and they call it like irrelevant information. So we don't want you to show irrelevant information for your users. So we're rejecting that. So Facebook had to like publish the version without this paragraph. So it seems like Apple have a lot of leverage because the iPhone user base is huge, especially in the US. So I wonder who has more leverage there.
That's interesting. Also to note that first of all, the Xbox division of Microsoft came out in favor of Epic in this fight, and secondly, over the last year, all the big tech conglomerates in the U.S. have been under an antitrust investigation by Congress. There have been multiple hearings. Only, I think, 3 weeks ago, all the CEOs were required to appear before Congress in a hearing, something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So I don't think that Epic's decision, I don't think their timing is coincidental. I think that has something to do with with those hearings as well.
Yeah, I like I like the court's response so when they protected the Epic development account, they said Apple and the Epic has every right to litigate against each other. I imagine like lawyers sitting like in like war rooms and just write like litigation against one another. I wonder how that's gonna look like.
We need to develop a game like that. Okay, that's
litigation wars. I'm sure. But we need to sell it to the Epic Game Store.
Of course. That's all we have on the show today, and thank you for listening. Of course, thank you, Omer, for joining me in the show.
Well, thank you for hosting.
No problem. You can find us online on Twitter. I'm at Icel, and Omer is at Omer Kaplan. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, comment, and leave your reviews on the preferred listening app, even if it's Apple. At theburn.live. Our theme music was created by Endorco, with vocal by Fishy Twitch, both on Twitter. And that's it for the show today.
All right. Yeah, we won't litigate against you, we promise.
No, we won't. So yeah, we'll see. You will hear from us next time. And that's it for right now. Goodbye.
All right, see you soon. See ya.